Man, let me tell you something. Force of average is coming.
Bro.
It's coming hard this week with this bullshit ass weather here in Texas. So we got a big fucking event tomorrow.
Yeah.
We sold over 300 fucking seats. Pulled in a great amount of money on the front end.
Yeah.
One of our best grossing sales events that we've had yet. And Mother Nature is like, hey, motherfuckers, you doing good? Haha, I got something for you. And throws in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Now, this is my second winter here as a Texan. Last winter,
yeah,
I was blamed for bringing in Snowmageddon and the ice storm and the freezing and the 3 inches of snow that we got last year. Well, this year, what's the excuse? And I was also told that was once every 10 years that happens down
now
here.
You are. That's all the bullshit. Well, that's why I messaged you the other day. Man? I was like, y'all got your shit together? Like, not like y'all with the event or anything. I was fucking around with everybody. But like I told my wife, they've already started canceling flights I saw for tomorrow. I'm like, I leave late Friday night. I'm like, it's fine. What I told her was, I just hope the power shields get fucked up because like my dudes are putting on a thing and they've been working their ass off on it. And then not to mention all the work that goes into Flying Friday on the back end. Yep. It's wild. Yes. Dallas, it's a safe place to do shit year round.
Yeah, right. One of the reasons we operate out of Dallas.
Why not?
Yeah, fuck, man.
A lot of people already been like bailing. They're not coming.
Yeah, we've had a couple people. But look, here's the harsh reality, and this is like the business side of things. Okay, and like you get this because you and I just connect there. We always have from day one. We got hard costs on this motherfucker.
Right.
Okay, like when I say to the hotel, hey, yeah, we're good for those 2 days, whether one person shows up or 1,000 people show up, I still got to foot that bill.
Yep.
So that kind of puts me into a jam, a moral dilemma.
Right, yeah.
Do I or can I restructure? There you go. Daddy, just edit that shit out. Or fuck it, leave it in. Who cares? That's what I love about podcasts. Do I or can I afford to refund tickets if someone requests because, Southwest or Americans or another act of God, literally act of God, has fucked up their plans and they can't make it here? But the other side of the coin is people have been notified about this and they knew that this bad weather was coming in for days at this point.
Right.
Like almost a week we've known. And I've had people literally pivot and do backflips to go out of their way to make sure that they're here on time. So what do? Do I give refunds? Do I? So here's the methodology that we're rolling with. We sold 3 levels of tickets to this event. Sold general admission. And sir, because you're one of our Apex Executive clients, Apex Executives and Apex Entrepreneur clients get free general admission tickets to these events. Yeah. It's freebie. Cool. Have at it. We want you there. We want your support. So 72, almost 80 executives and almost another 50 entrepreneurs are coming in.
Oh, wow.
0.
Okay.
That's 120 people right there.
Right.
I'm not charging for tickets on that. I'm already eating that.
Right.
Right. We got the general admission, we've got the VIP tickets, and we've got platinum tickets that we sold for this event too. I got to give something back to these people. So this is what we're doing for now. Someone can't make it. It's very simple. We are going to actually live stream the entire event tomorrow. It's going to be on a private YouTube channel, and we're going to email and text blast out a link. It says, hey, if you couldn't make it to the event because of the force of nature, here's a link. Oh, and also we're going to record this thing. We're going to then upload it to Kajabi, and we're going to send it out to everyone who purchased a ticket free of charge and say, hey, here's some digital assets. If you couldn't make it, cool. On top of that, we're going to go above and beyond for the VIP clients. So if you bought a VIP ticket and you can't make it or you did make it, doesn't make a difference to me. So me and the 5 other speakers, there's 6 of us in total, we're going to actually hold a 1-hour-long Zoom call. Nice. That's an open Q&A. So you want to get on a call with us and have conversations, shoot the shit, joke around. I don't care what we do.
Right.
But I'm going to give you my time.
Yeah, for sure.
So like that's like the position I'm in. Like as a businessman, I can't just start giving refunds because I'm a ticket sideways.
It's already cost.
Yeah. But I want to do the best that I possibly can to give back in some other way, shape, or form.
I mean, they'll literally get the event outside of the physical, but the content, the knowledge is going to be there. And, they have it forever, whereas, it's better than the notes they're not going to be taking.
Oh, yeah. The notes they don't take or, come in one ear, out the other.
Right, yeah.
I learned so much shit. I don't know what I'm going to do first.
I mean, you do what you can do with the circumstances. Yeah. Control everything that you control. That's going above and beyond what you can control.
Yeah, it is. Something you do often, sir. Let's backtrack here a bit, little context. So you're Josh Wilson.
I am.
You are the dog trainer.
One of them.
You've been an Apex Executives going on nearly 2 years at this point, or over a year and change.
Late this month will be 2 years.
Yeah, it had to be, right? And you came in and you were assigned to work with me as a coach.
I was.
And we've been having deep dive conversations going on 2 years now. But it's something that I've watched you do is go above and beyond, pivot. I mean, you paid some coin to go on a very exclusive private jet trip with us back in September.
Yep.
To Cabo. Okay.
I did.
I'm talking like big boy money to go on that trip, right? You spent the money, and about a week out, you call me up and like, hey, coach, I got a problem. Mm-hmm. This is the situation that popped up. Okay. I'm handling it. I got it, but I need to be here to handle it properly. So like my internal values are telling me as much as I want to go on that trip, I can't go.
Yeah, that stunk.
Yeah.
That was a tough thing. I mean, because for me, the conflict was I knew what the opportunity the Cabo trip presented relationally, with you, with Stuman, with the rest of the team. Opportunity to get some FaceTime and one-on-one time with some particular speakers I was very interested in connecting with in an intimate setting. Yeah. Not in, hey, man, really appreciate your time.
Good to see you at the event.
Want a 500, I'll like you on Instagram, follow you on Instagram. And so there was that piece. And I mean, anytime I go somewhere, I always hope there's some value I could bring to somebody with something, right? It's not just like to get something. I want to bring some value, and it was important to me, and it wasn't cheap. Sure. But you wouldn't expect it to be for the level of what was being presented. And we just had a major shift with the business, and we were shutting down one of our businesses. It didn't fit the model and the overall scheme of the organization. It was profitable, but the margins didn't make sense for the effort it required. Yep. And for me, it was like, yes, I could have easily shut it down. The timing was what it was, and they could have been doing the last day and the staff doing their deal and the emotional goodbyes with the client base and all those things. And I could have jumped on a private jet and gone to Mexico and did the deal. I didn't love the optics of it. That was one part of it. And I brought that thing to existence. Right. I wanted to be the one that locked the door at the end of the day. And I felt from a leadership standpoint, like that was important, not just for the team with that business, but for like my team as a whole, with the organization across the different brands. I don't want to be the guy just y'all figure it out. Right. Now I pay plenty of people to figure out certain things, but with that there, I didn't feel great about it, and I had a good argument for either decision. Yep. And it was almost like, hey, Thomas, I need you to tell me, like I wanted you to tell me your opinion so then I could just lean that way and be like, hey, this is the thing. But what you said to me was great. You're like, hey, here's the deal. You got to make the best decision for you based on your core values and what's the best decision for you. And sometimes it's really good to be selfish. And sometimes it's not the right time to be selfish. And you didn't tell me a direction to go at all. Yeah. You said, I'll make the right decision, but it has to be my decision and the best one for me. And that's what we did. And I think it was 48 hours later. Yeah. I hit you up and I said, hey, look, I'll eat the cost, whatever it is. And you guys are freaking pros. And, we're like, we'll see you in March. Yep. And, on it, and which is tremendous and was not expected. And, for those listening, guys, if you don't surround yourself with people and organizations and situations like that, where it's like, well, you're, up a creek, sorry.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case. Like, you need to get people like that in your circle, in your environment.
Yep.
It was literally looking to, how can you help me? We're here to support you. Let me know what you need. Let us know where you land.
Yeah.
And every single one of y'all were just pros with it. And that took a concern of mine off, because I didn't want to disappoint my Apex family, with it either, because this was something we'd been planning for 7-8 months.
Yeah, wow. Been a while in the works.
So, I mean, and we were just slugging. We were just hitting home runs in that particular business at the time. It was what it was.
Yeah. So you mean the force of average came for you in that business too?
Oh, she came. Man. But we punched her in the face though. Yeah. Like, hey, not today. Yeah. And it was the right decision for me. Did I have some FOMO? Seriously, as I'm seeing the great times that were being had and all that? Yep, 100%. But I knew that no matter what the coming weeks and months, would bring, I was very confident in the decision I made, and with how I would be. I don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about how I'm necessarily viewed or perceived. I worry about how my wife thinks of me. Yeah. I worry about how my kids view me and what they think of me. But generally, I don't care. Yeah,
I think that comes with confidence too.
Well, maturity, and that confidence, right? I spent plenty of time worrying, and I think a lot of people do, and in turn, I don't spend a lot of time judging. Others. Like, I just don't have the time for it, the space for it, and it doesn't serve me or my objectives.
Sure.
So I knew with the decision I made that for my staff, for my team, there wouldn't be this sense of, man, we're dealing with this heavy thing. Because it wasn't a popular opinion when I decided to shut it down.
Right.
The team did not want that. Y'all figure it out. I'm out. And, I just didn't feel great about it.
Yeah, but I started with but. I hate when my guys come to me and give me a yeah, but. That goes to my kids too, by the way. And here I am giving you a yeah, but.
It happens.
This was just another prime example of you showing me your level of leadership. Because you were in a tight situation, right? Shit popped off. It wasn't going the way you want. And then you went in and you reassessed the business from a 30,000-foot view, and you said, hey, and I've been saying this for years, right? And we've probably had conversations around it over the past 2 years, right? But it's not all business is good business.
Right.
And you had a business. It was functional. You had clients out the door.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, that margin was so slim that it just wasn't worth the effort.
Right.
So let's stop what we're doing here. We're going to shut it down, even though it's going against the grain. People are going to get pissed off. People are going to lose their jobs. But what it's going to enable me and my team to do is refocus that effort and energy into something that's much more productive for us.
Yeah, and that was 100% the case. And it wasn't, and I've mentioned this to you, and I think I've mentioned it to some others as we've kind of talked through this process. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have made the decision. Too proud.
Yep.
I'm not going to shut this down. I'll look like a failure. I just put hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into this renovation, and then not to start counting in the cost of staffing and equipment and all of these things. Just going to, there's no way. There's no way. But what is the cost? What is the actual cost? Everything costs something. Money. I'm very confident if money goes out, my team, myself, I will find a way to create more of it, right? So it's that abundance mindset that we talk about so often. And so I wasn't fearful of what was lost because that served its purpose.
Yeah.
It was a profitable business, but the toll it was taking, particularly on leadership, and the attention it was taking away from our main thing to add a service that people loved and adored. I mean, we grew that thing the second largest in our region in 12 months from never even having a footprint on it.
Yeah.
I mean, so everybody was shocked. What? Why? No, don't do that. But it just made no sense. And not all business is good business. Not all money is good money.
Yep.
And the second that we did close that door, and it was emotional. I mean, there were highs and lows. It was not, an easy decision. It got to be an accepted decision, though, when I took the emotion out and just did the math.
Yeah.
Math is unemotional.
Very.
You can have very emotional responses to math, but math doesn't care at all. It's just what it is. And so when I broke that down, I was like, what can I put these 60 man hours a week towards? And what can that do? And we had the best fourth quarter. I mean, fourth quarter is always good for us.
Sure.
The exponential increase in our fourth quarter last year, though, after removing that time suck away from my team, huge, crazy,
game changer,
record-setting year, which was already on pace to be a great year. But it made such a big difference. We had to go in and then change what our goals were. And like, we don't luck into that.
Yeah.
And we would not have accomplished that had we kept pressing on the other business that we added into the organization. It was a good business. It wasn't good for us, and it wasn't great. It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, though, so we are 5 months, going on 6 months now post that decision, I guess. Yeah, or February. That was September, so 5 months. We are talking about, though, okay, at some point in the future, how do we make that make sense, though? You know, because I had this huge, beautiful facility in Virginia that kind of feels like a ghost town. The energy is gone because of what 120 dogs a day brought to that particular place with the daycare. And we've got several models that were bouncing off our head that wouldn't require what it required before.
Got it.
And a smaller scale where it's bringing in revenue. Is it bringing as much revenue as it did before? No. But it provides a service for a select number of people.
Right.
And we have when I thought about it, I kind of looked at it as looking at the different layers of Apex, actually. And not everybody's an execs. It's not the right fit for everybody.
Yeah, can't be.
They're not there. They're not there yet. And it's the same way as you work your way through. And that's what we kind of did with this. I'm like, what if we brought that to a smaller scale?
Yeah.
Price it accordingly. We don't worry about all the one-off type clients because it's not necessary. We don't need to have them in the room because we'll easily replace it with that right person because we brought down that requirement. There's not 10,000 people in execs.
Right.
It could be.
It could be, but it's a select crowd.
Right. And that's the same thing with that. And so that's an idea we're bouncing around. We're not running with this model to launch it tomorrow.
Sure.
But I'm like, hey, the training side is operating smooth. Is there a way to do that better than we did it before that doesn't require as much? And if it does and it fits the model,
let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So like, well, how do you think people are going to respond if you try it again? And what if you decide it's not for you? Like, I'm going to go home, see my wife, my kids, and I'm going to be just fine. Because it's no one's decision to make but mine and my upper level team who decides on those. We're good with it. We're good with it.
It's the beauty of entrepreneurship, sir.
Yeah, it's you get the hand claps and the pats on the back, but then it's all, and so you can take the win if you want, but you also got to carry the L's.
Yeah, you do. You carry that one all the way home.
Yeah,
for sure. Look, man, you've done some pretty outstanding things in the short time that I've gotten to know you.
Thank you.
You know, when we first got together and hopped on our first couple of calls, you know, I think you had maybe 3 or 4 locations for your dog training.
Yes, sir.
Which is a franchise that you're a franchisee.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. I don't want to get the or.
No,
or
you got it. You're tracking. You're tracking.
So you had 3 or 4 at the time. And over the course of the last 2 years, like, opportunity has basically popped up, we'll call it.
Yeah.
These were opportunistic purchases where someone called you and said, hey, I am thinking of getting out of my franchise agreement.
Yep.
Would you like to take over, kind of thing?
Yeah.
And it's happened, I don't know how many times at this point, 4, 5, 6, 7 times?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah. There we go. It's 5.
A couple other opportunities, and just wasn't the right time or scenario.
Sure.
But yeah, when we first came on, I believe we were, we were Virginia,
San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio, Virginia, Detroit, and California.
Yes,
we sold the California locations to my good buddy Matt, who one day sooner or later Matt's going to be, he needs to be an exec. He needs to start that process. So if you're listening, Matt, here's your sign.
Matt, let's go.
Yeah, and he would be great. This is a young dude, a hungry dude. He is not scared. He gives himself a ton of anxiety, but he's not scared of investing in himself. He's not scared of hard work. And he moved cross country. He was a trainer of mine in Virginia. Graduated college, came to work for me as a client.
Yep.
And 2.5 years later, he moves across the country. A year later, he buys out the locations from me. So the dude's just hungry, motivated. He's a beast.
Doing the damn work.
And California puts him through the ringer as far as how he has to structure things and do stuff. So, we sold that off, and then we had an opportunity to acquire Milwaukee, location in Milwaukee, and then Des Moines.
Yep.
And then we looked at it, and we ended up, who came next? Gosh, I think we're in Madison now.
Yep.
And
That's
Austin.
Wisconsin. You're Austin. Yep.
Yeah. And then expanded up to Bell County, south of here, Waco and Bell County. So pretty much Waco, Bell County, dang near down to the Gulf, running down Central Texas. We're there. Wisconsin, Iowa, Virginia, and Wisconsin, Michigan.
Yep. That's pretty badass. So here's the biggest thing that I, looking from afar.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. Josh has these opportunities. And so many times I've seen other small business owners coaching clients, they go in and they say, oh, it's an opportunity. I can't let this one go. But they're really not ready for it. And they go in, they invest the money, they grab it, and all of a sudden they start putting all their effort and energy into the new location. And what happens? Home base, the main thing, goes to shit.
Yes.
I didn't see that happen in your organization. And I know a lot of it has to do with a couple things. A, you're a fucking leader.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Number two, you have systems and processes in place.
We do.
You've got a marketing machine. You've got a sales machine. You've got a training machine. So you're able to literally take this. So let's say this is a new franchise location. You grab this thing, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. Well, they're only doing like $100,000 a year in sales, and it's like a part-time deal for this dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna go plug with all your systems, your marketing, your sales, your training, and all of a sudden you now have this asset that's grossing $300,000, $400,000 a year or more.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, yes, we have that sales system, we have that marketing processes, operating procedures, we have all those things. I don't want anybody listening thinking that every day is just smooth sailing, right? I mean, because here's the thing. You can put all these things on paper. You can put all these systems online for your team to have continuing education and all of those things. In my world, I'm still depending on humans, as most of us are, to execute those things at a high level. And the more operating procedures you have, the more policies, honestly, the you got to step up and lead that way even better, because it doesn't make it easier. It makes it scalable.
Yeah.
Right. And then, with us, we had to build up our administrative team, our support team, more than I even could have anticipated to help that. But now we've got it dialed in as such. I'm like, okay, there's an opportunity to acquire, or I'm interested in acquiring another location and expanding, our organization. What does that look like? Well, I know if it's a location that meets my demographics, my goals, I know I'm going to need potentially another salesperson, potentially another support person, potentially a scheduling individual. Of these three people, how many locations can they handle? All right, well, we're about to add a third location to Sabrina. That's probably going to max her out on leads because of our demographics are pretty consistent across what I look for. It's a value to me.
Sure.
Like I said, there's been opportunities, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm interested in it, because I have things that I look for, and I'm like, okay, this works for us. This can support my team and a growing team of trainers.
Yeah.
So, 4 or 5 years ago, we were at 4 locations, and honestly, I wanted to sell them all and get down to Charlottesville, Virginia, and Hampton Roads, because I was selling for everybody. Katie was doing a lot of selling back then too. But I was training all the trainers. I was still training dogs. I'm doing the marketing. I'm doing the social media. I'm doing all of it.
Yep.
And it was just the biggest headache on the planet.
Sure.
And there was no revenue number back then where I said, oh, it would just be worth it if we were at this. And the reality is, even if there was, we'd have never hit it.
Yeah.
Because it was such a mess. What we were doing it wasn't replicable. It was just running, right?
Yep.
And so we looked to start liquidating. And we were just going to go to our main place, which is Hampton Roads, Virginia, southeastern coastal Virginia. And I went, I don't know. Can we do this better before we get rid of everything? Can we do this better? Let me bite the bullet and invest in another admin. Right? Let's invest in bringing up another salesperson.
Sure.
Next thing you know, I'm like,
it's getting better.
Oh, this is getting better. I was so focused on bringing in people that generated revenue. And right, I think that's common for any
you have to
small business.
In the beginning stages of business, that's what you have to do.
Right. And so that owner, that leader, they're doing a million hats, and I'm okay with it, right? I'm not beyond picking up dog shit. Like, it doesn't.
That's another business you got too, by the way.
I do, yeah. We do. We try to monetize it all. Every part of the dog. So, but you're so scared to invest in good humans that all of a sudden take that load off. And now your mediocre effort at 1,000 things is condensed down and becoming above average effort on 500 things. Right. Oh, wow. This person's paying for themselves and then some?
Yeah.
But it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary because when you do the math on paper, it doesn't work.
Never.
Because you're like, oh, shit, I got to hire this person. And they're going, the problem here is mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, because most small business owners look at it like, unless this person's a sales rep or unless this person is on the fulfillment team, they're not making me money.
Right. Yeah.
So I got to pay this person 40, 50, 60 grand a year to do admin shit.
Right.
It's blasphemy. Not going to happen.
I'll just do it.
Yeah, I'll just do it myself. Yeah, okay. But it only takes me 10 seconds to do this. Well, 10 seconds times 100,000 because it never stops.
Yep.
Right. And this is where, you and I have had this talk probably dozens of times. It's study your damn time.
Yeah.
Where are you putting your effort and energy into, and start figuring out where you're putting that effort and energy and what needs to come off your plate quickly.
Yeah, it's huge. And that audit of your personal time and, more importantly, of the staff you do have's time. It's like, where can we maximize? And we've shifted people to so many different roles. Yeah. Like, it's hired them for one thing, and we're like, no, you actually could probably thrive over here and do better.
Yeah.
And it's figuring out like the right seat, right? Just because they're in the car with you doesn't necessarily mean they're in that right position in the car. And so we've really challenged ourselves to get, one, longevity. I want people to thrive. I want people to stick around. Don't want to lose people. And if people aren't satisfied, because it's tough to work for me. It is tough to work in my office environment. It is tough because I walk in the door and we're going 300 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I want them going 250 before I walk in the door. I'll get in, I'll give us the boost, right? And it's tough. And it's like that every single day.
Yeah.
We had a record month January, right? Shout out to the sales team and really my trainers and everybody, because everybody just did phenomenal, which is what leads to that growth. We nearly doubled 12 months ago, January. January is never a good month for us. And yeah, we added a lot of locations, so part of that should naturally happen.
Sure.
But a couple of them are working on some transitions right now, and they're not primed. They're not really pulling their weight. But that growth is insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, our office staff has almost tripled in the last 12 months, those costs. But everybody's getting dialed in and functioning in such a stronger way. So now, though, but because you talk about the numbers, because I know my numbers, I know the time requirements.
Yep.
It wasn't terrifying to add on. We added 5 last year, 5 locations. And I will say, so much respect to the team, didn't really miss a beat. And our headquarters in Virginia, by far, had the best year they've ever had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, there's a nice 8 to 10% growth. No, we were 40 some odd trainers.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. And it's not it's not the norm in our industry.
Sure.
By any means.
Sure.
But again, I think I talked about this on my podcast. I think if you don't pay attention to your numbers and you don't,
that was me.
Was that you?
Yeah, I'm kicking shit over here in the middle of recording a fucking podcast.
I was like, man, what Break Free Academy got running around here in this office? Pest control. We got rodents.
We got a guy in Apex for that too, by the way.
Yeah, he'll look you up. But it's like, if you know your numbers, it's there. Now, here's the thing. I knew my numbers. I was off, though, on knowing my numbers. I knew the numbers where I was at. I knew where they could get us. I miscalculated, though, the energy of the existing staff. I thought I was staffed ahead with my support team.
Yeah.
I was probably 3 humans short of where I need to be now with my existing locations.
Right.
The people that I had were executing at such a high level, I accepted that as norm.
Yes.
As we brought in new people, we quickly realized, they're not normal. They're exceptional.
Yeah.
And
Okay. If the business is fucking kicking ass and murdering things, it's $250,000. Okay, cool. So out of curiosity, I pull out the old iPhone calculator as I'm sitting in the crowd listening.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it now.
I pop in the numbers and I said, oh, fuck. We got a problem.
Right.
You know what the problem was? The number wasn't low.
Right.
I wasn't under that $85,000 threshold. We were at, I don't want to say the number here because if you can actually reverse engineer the math.
Right, yeah.
But let's say it was more than double, almost triple of what that $250,000 area was.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. I have a team of super high performers who are operating at level 10 fucking million every day. And a couple things here. We're running these people hard. And granted, our team is above average.
Sure. Yes, it is.
It is what it is. I'm cool with that. But I can't keep these dudes up here for this long and expect them to be here for the long term, the longevity of the company. So what do we do here? And then it goes back into I don't know. To me, it's business 101, and to some people it's not. But I go to very basic things. Okay, what does the org chart look like right now?
Right.
Let's go back to the org chart. And I look over. I don't see a fucking thing. I'm sitting in my office about a month ago, and my good friend Chris Whitehead is here. And Chris is the head of executive coaches.
Yeah.
So him and I are having a talk, and I had to show him something. I pulled up the org chart, and he goes, there's your fucking problem, you idiot. And I needed that fresh set of eyeballs on it. And he's like, you got a bunch of salespeople on your team, and you have nobody in operations but you and two other people.
Right.
Because you're the typical, let's front load and get a bunch of salespeople over here. And it's like, oh, wow, gee, I don't know how I missed that one.
Yeah. Right.
But that's where coaching and that outside perspective comes into play. So Chris points out the obvious to me. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Boom. Let's go make the pivot and change some things in. So we had an executive meeting last Friday. All right. And this is one of the coolest things that I think about being a leader. Right. And granted, I don't own Break Free Academy.
Sure.
Okay. But I run the show here.
Yeah.
Right. We get to impact people's lives in a positive way.
Yep.
All right. This is the problem. We're going to sit here. There's 4 grown-ass adults sitting at this table. Ryan's one of them. Right. Maybe it was 5 of us, actually. These are the problems. These are the opportunities we got going on. What are we doing to fix all this shit?
Right.
And a couple of things came out of that meeting. Number one, and you just hit on this, we got to cut people who fit the values, they fit the culture of the team, but they're not working great where they are. I don't want to lose them, so let's pivot and move some people around.
Yeah.
So you're going from this team to this team. This one's going from that team to this team. As long as they're okay with it, I'm not forcing this on anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We're gonna have a conversation like grown adults before I just assume.
So weird. Right? Wow.
Right. And the second thing was this: we increased our base salary. So there's not a person in this company who makes less than $50,000 per year.
Yeah.
So we raised that bar.
Yeah.
And even for some of the admin jobs that really don't warrant technically that salary, we established as a company that we refuse to pay any less than $50,000 a year to anybody who comes into work for us.
That's awesome.
So now I'm taking some guys, and I got some young dudes on my team, right? Like, dude, 50 grand to a 19, 20-year-old kid.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like if I was making that back in the day, I'm doing backflips.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where, I don't know, it kind of just tantalizes me to be in this position because I get to positively impact others' lives that way.
Well, yeah. But it's not just sitting back on the wins of yesterday. Right. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine and he's like, dude, why are you traveling so much? Why, like, you're always in Texas. Like November, December, I was on the road every week.
Yep.
You know, visiting my teams, celebrating a great year with them because I don't get to see them every day like I do my Virginia team.
Sure.
And even them, I don't see the trainers every day. I'm in different things and doing different stuff. And he's like, you don't need to do all that. Like, you're out of your mind. I absolutely do need to do that. I have the opportunity to do all that. And the problem is, like, it isn't a financial thing. It isn't like success is so individualistic, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody views that differently. And I think that's healthy, right? If you're chasing what somebody else deems as successful, like you will never get there because you will never be able to muster the motivation to do the work, right? Because you're driven by something different. But the winning piece is like, it's an addiction. It is an addiction. And as great of a month as my team had in January, not without struggles, not without issues, I'm like, it's dead to us.
Mm-hmm. It's over.
It's done.
Yeah.
And now it's the trainer's job to do their part. Now it's admin to do their part on the back end for those dogs that are completing. And now they're going into a whole nother process that we have established to stay in touch and communicating and do these things with those clients. But I'm like, who have we not helped yet? Right? Like, how do we reach more people? Because I don't take for granted what people would define as success with our business. Numbers say our dog training business is successful. Mm-hmm. The numbers would say that when you look at the average for the industry. But I don't give a shit about the average for the industry because they're not my businesses.
Yeah.
I care about my business. I care about my people. Mm-hmm. The market is saying, in most of the areas where we have locations, there's a desire for the experience and service that we provide. There's more people that need to know about us. Mm-hmm. Because of how busy we stay, because of the amount of dogs we're able to work with and fortunate enough to be trusted with, more people need to know. Because when you compare it to everybody else, we're not like the only dog trainer in it. And I just don't look at it as like we're dog trainers. I'll joke around and be like, yeah, I'm the king of like, come and sit. Like this, no, like I'm reducing stress. I'm removing problems from the home. Like people are going to walk into the house and not be all worked up because their day sucked. And now the dog's jumping all over the car they pull into the garage that they're driving they can't afford and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And now there's chaos with the kids and the spouse and all this crap. I can't fix a lot of those issues for people. I can fix one of them though. Mm-hmm. You know, and our team, because I don't talk to the clients like I used to.
Because you actually built a business.
Right. It's screwed up. Turned a hobby into this, you know. And some days I'm like, oh, if I could just have the client and the dog, that would be a great day. But the reality is that would be a great day. Mm. But what drives me and motivates me, I can't get from the dog on that day.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know there's opportunities for us to impact more people and help more people. And if we continue to do it at a high level, there's so many people that don't know that they can make a really great living doing this, that think they have to go the route of school and 9 to 5 and these degrees and end up sitting in a box being miserable, and because that's what the world always tells them to do. And I'm like, no, homie, you can, walk around with a dog outside, and sometimes it's raining and you're gonna get wet, and some days it's hot, but control your day. Make it make sense, and you'll probably make quite a bit more money than you would going that path. And we get a lot of people who are making that path change, mid to late 20s, went to school, went and got the job, and they're miserable. And they're miserable. And so the fact that we've got people from all sorts of different backgrounds and able to give them opportunities, that's what motivates me. You did an exercise with me talking about how many plates at night, have food on them because of the work we do as an organization. And then the next step of that was, because generosity is very important to me and my team. We were helping out some organizations with some stuff they were having and providing some meals for some stuff. He said, dude, you got to share this with your team. They got to get to that next level and then really understand like where you're at with this stuff. Start talking to them about that. And we did. And I talk about that stuff often now with different things that we're able to do. And because we're fortunate with the opportunity to do it. But if we focus on yesterday, we lose those opportunities. And I think so many people, salespeople, are notorious for doing that. Woo! I had that big quarter. I just got my bonus. And their numbers die with it. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do. You're at the club. You're getting bottle service. You're doing all these things that don't matter because you just got it. You have a little bit of cash in your account. But 30 to 45 days later, all of a sudden numbers start creeping up because they've blown through all that stuff.
Got to go back, get that bank account filled up.
Got to get the bag. Like, why you get in that mindset shift again, like keeping that the pedal to the floor, and the exceptional ones. They want to get it every day.
They do.
Right? And so it's helping them to understand that, helping the people that you provide services to, being unselfish with those things. And then you can end up being as damn selfish as you want to.
That's just it.
But people don't think that they can do both.
Burton Hughes talks about that quite often. Like, hey, you can have the Lambo, but you can't have the body.
Right.
Like the muscles and look good. Right. Or you can have this, but you can't have that. And it's all like, it's bullshit that society has told us. And he always comes back to it like, well, why can't I have both? If I work hard enough,
why not?
I can have both. And he clearly does.
And you can have the happy family. You can have the successful business and career.
And still not spend, 150 hours a week in the office.
Right. Like you can do these things, but it's choices. You have to decide what that's going to be, and that you want that. And it's one of the things we talk about often in Apex is, celebrating people's wins. And, and there's, better than I. We have such incredible people in all levels of this organization, Apex. And there's not without struggles. And pain points. But when you look at a lot of the people in these rooms, when they're winning across. They didn't make a deal with the devil and sacrifice everything else so they can have a great record year in their business. Now, there's plenty of people that do. But that excuse of I have to sacrifice that so I can do this is bullshit. And for me, case in point, it's been my health. My relationship with my wife, dope. Awesome. My kids, they're teenagers. Who the hell knows? Depends on the day, right? Whether I'm cool or not. But I think it's pretty good. My business is very difficult, but I feel really good about it. I feel good about my relationship with my team and all those things. My health, though, I have let the reason why I can't focus on that and stick to it and be disciplined because it needs all these things. Like everything else needs that time. And I've made a commitment to you, to Mark, and several other people. And it's shocking You know, I'm about a month and a half, 5 weeks in, working on this thing, 6 weeks in. Yeah, we're hitting on all cylinders. Business is doing just fine. I'm less fat. You know, it's just so crazy. But we make up these bullshit excuses. And the reality is, I've been fine with being fat. You're fine with having a shitty marriage. You are fine with underperforming at work. You are fine with driving a beater-ass car. You are fine with whatever other mediocre relationship you may have in your life.
Yep.
Because there's one thing you tell yourself that is deserving of all those other sacrifices when it's really just bullshit. And there's always this internal turmoil when you allow that. And this isn't me saying, hey, you got to have a Lambo, you got to have the perfect wife and marriage and the great kids who are, you know, all straight A students. Like, no, that's not the deal. But you can. Whatever that list of things are that you're telling yourself, you've got to give up this one so you can have the other, is a bullshit story. And you absolutely can. You have the time, you have the energy, you just don't have the discipline.
Yeah.
And I have lacked the discipline.
Yep. That right there is just you being very, very self-aware, in my opinion. It also has a lot to do with the room of individuals that we tend to surround ourselves with.
100%.
Because you walk into a room, and I don't care if it's Apex 1, Apex 2, Apex 3, right? It doesn't matter what level of Apex you come in. You walk into that room, and it's usually a bunch of fit motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, man, dude, I came into this program, I was 315 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? Now, my weight has it gone up and down throughout my years of being here?
Sure.
Fuck yeah, it has, right? And it's on the upward trend at the moment. I'm just being fully transparent. Mark, don't fucking listen to this. But I'm also self-aware. I know I got to go in there and tweak some things.
Yeah.
Right? But by surrounding yourself with others who put health and fitness at the forefront of what they do each and every day, rubs off on you eventually.
Yeah, it does.
Right? So, and man, Ryan's been talking about it for years. He's been preaching, wrote a fucking book on it called G Code.
Right.
Right? And there's 4 key pillars of life that we need to focus on each and every day. Gratitude, genetics, grind, which is your work, and your group. So I've, and you know, we've had discussions on this too, I'm sure over the past 2 years, but I structure my day very intentionally. Yeah. Because here's what I know about me. I'm a lazy motherfucker.
Right?
Yeah. Like, when I say that, people are like, oh, come on, man, you ain't lazy. You're always doing that. Right. No. Trust me. When opportunity presents itself, I'm the first motherfucker on the couch with a beer in my hand. Right. First one. Okay. Am I proud of that? No. But regardless. Sure. What I've had to do in order to get around that hurdle in my life is intentionally get the hard shit done first. Right. Yeah. Wake up early, 5 a.m. I wake up, whether I want to or not. I fucking bitch and moan to myself every fucking morning, by the way. Wake up, I pick up the phone, write down 5 things I'm grateful for. I get my ass into the shower because at 42, by the way, if I don't shower before I start the gym, I'm like creaking and cracking. Right. The back's all stiff. I just don't work.
I understand.
Right. So I get that out of the way, and then I go to the gym. On the way to the gym, I'm taking care of some audiobooks or podcasts, so I'm working on the mind. I get to the gym. Mark tortures me. Yeah. Like almost kills me every day. Thanks again today, Mark, by the way. But there it is. It's done. Yep. By the time I get home, which is roughly, we'll call it 7:30 in the morning, I've woken up, I've practiced gratitude, I've got a kick-ass workout in from the evil trainer, and I've already consumed content to work on my mind. Right. So now when I get home, the next step of the process is, cool, I've got 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending upon my day, to do whatever I want. And rolled into that time is always showering again, because I don't want to be a stinky human. Right. Eating, and most important is my kids are still young. Right. So when I get home, I've got a couple of my kids who are still at the house. Yep. So it's me going and sitting on the couch with them and the dog and pouring into them for a couple minutes. Because listen, the harsh reality is this, and you know this being a parent, your kids don't require that much time from you. after a certain amount of time, especially with younger kids, after a certain amount of time, they're like, yeah, Pop, could you, we're going to go play Legos. We don't need you here.
Right.
And I don't know what teenagers are like yet.
It's the same thing, but they're ruder. It is. My daughter yesterday sit on the couch and I'm next to her and I'm like, I leave for Texas in the morning. Like, you want to just hang out? We want to snuggle for a little bit.
Yeah.
And she's like, why do you have to just touch me? You're up against me, all this stuff. And it's just a funny thing, right? And this is the little girl. This is a young woman. She's 14. And, we're just a couple of years ago, she's sneaking into the bed, in the middle of the night. And it's just a funny thing. But it's the same deal. They get tired of you. But with the teenagers, it's kind of like when they need you, though.
They hit you up real quick.
It's like, hey, so I wanted to go to pick this up or whatever.
I was thinking of.
It's just funny. But, I mean, you're right, though. They don't require a lot, but they deserve everything that they need.
Yes, correct. But my whole point of telling the whole long-winded story there is I literally win the day before I even pick up my phone, open a computer, or come into the office to work.
Yep.
So if nothing else went right for the rest of the day, cool, I already took care of the most important shit.
Yeah, you killed it. Yeah, that's good. And so funny, I've always been a very early riser. I sleep for shit. And I think that's a commonality with a lot of people like us. Yeah. We don't necessarily have wonderful sleep habits. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but a lot of people talk to that, so it seems to be the theme. Always wake up crazy early and all of those things. And I felt like I had to. Here's a weird thing, the last month and a half, maybe going on 2 months, because this would go back to last year. I've been sleeping well, which is weird. I'm like, oh God, something's wrong with me. What's going on? And I've just been sleeping well. And so I try to pay attention to my body.
Yeah.
And because I had it on my mind, I'm like, okay, I get up early. I'm going to get my stuff knocked out. It's going to be done. And I went into this year intentionally saying, you guys aren't going to see me in the office till 10. You just won't. And most time, primarily last year and all the time moving forward, I beat everybody into the office. I instituted a rule where you don't talk to me before 10. I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just I'm here. Yeah. Do not text me. Do not call me. Do not walk into my office unless it's an emergency. If the building's burning.
I'm doing shit.
That's right. Done. That's my most effective time.
Yeah.
And I believe that's my most effective time. So what I did going into this year was, Katie, you don't want me to tell shit about anything. I'm not going to be here till 10. All right? So I won't have meetings before 10, and I'm not taking meetings after 3.
Yep.
I was like, my health is a priority. And I'm not dying, guys. I'm not falling out or anything. I just got to get this weight off. Lungs are strong, heart is strong. I'd like to keep it that way. So I need to get this weight off, right? But I'm like, I can reduce my availability and get where I need to be. And so I'm like, all right, I have till 10. I'll get all this stuff in, spend some time with the wife in the morning. We're good to go. I can jump into emails, read, whatever I need to do. I have till 10. What happened was I start sleeping. And I've never been a person who wakes up to an alarm. I just wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and 4:30 in the morning. Now I'm waking up 7, 7:30. The other day, went a little longer. I'm like, oh, Lord, I missed the whole day. What's going on? But I'm getting my workouts in. I'm not rushing.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's something I have to do or got to be. Nothing's getting missed. I'm still I'm not winning the getting out of there at 3 thing yet or having the meetings done at 3 yet. But we're getting better. But now I'm starting to wake up earlier again. But I feel so much better. And one of the things I shared with you a couple of weeks ago on one of our coaching calls, and I've shared with some friends, is that my energy and where it's been because of where my health has been at, I really believe I'm running at 40% of my potential. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
and it's the things that I say.
All these good things going on. What happens when we get to 60 or 70%?
So what do we say around here?
Yeah.
Wait till we get good, right? And I'm telling Devin, and I told her that, and I said, sweetheart, honest to God, I believe I'm running at 40% of my potential. And she's like, oh my God. It concerned her, and it kind of scares me a little bit too.
Yeah.
But if what I say, my core values are what I'm really, really about, and coming back to wanting to help people and really impact people's lives and create opportunity, how can I be okay running at 40% of my potential? I can't.
Yep.
And so if business needs to take a back seat, for me to improve, to be able to lead better, whether it's my family, whether it's my business, whether it's my friend groups, whatever it may be. And maybe, damn it, it's just for me. You know, I'm willing to do that. The funny thing is, it's not even on my mind that the business is going to take a back seat. I think we'll have a better year than we've ever had.
Yep.
As a business, which is obviously important. It's important to the team. Growth is important. People have jobs and stability and know they got a place that values them. That's great. But I think about where I'm going to be in a year and what we can do if collectively they get a better version of me. That has my focus right now.
Yeah. Here's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Whenever you put work in on you, for the most part,
yeah,
you don't see immediate ROI.
Sure.
You don't see immediate results. And I think it's a dirty trick of the force of average, honestly, right? Because it's like, fuck, man, I'm putting all this work in, but nothing's happened. I don't feel any different. I don't look any different. I don't have, bicep veins popping out.
Right, yeah.
My wiener's not longer. Like, none of that shit.
Right.
So the key here is you put the work in today, and it's going to be a minimum of 90 days before the next version of you comes out.
Yeah.
So you're putting work in now. So and the cool thing, this is what I figured out too. When I started taking care of me, health and fitness wise, everything got better.
Sure.
Okay. Relationship with the wife got better.
Yeah.
Okay. Relationship with the kids got better because I had more energy and more time to pour into them.
Yep.
Relationships with this one got better. All of this, and also the financial side of it got better too. Because I was able to be more present and focused during business.
Yeah, it's crazy. You talk about not having those immediate results, right? Like, we're just getting going on this, and I'm working on it. And I text Mark, and you were a bigger guy, so you know the deal. Sometimes when you decide to dial in and get disciplined, you get some quick rewards.
Yeah,
it comes off a little bit. At 43, things move a little slower, apparently. Well, I make a progress, and we reverse engineer this because, again, math is an emotional. Math is math. So I approached it the same way I approach my business.
Yeah.
I reverse engineered what my goals are, discuss with Mark, we have a plan. And I know where I need to be. And we're taking these steps. I'm like, cool. I'm just going to focus on today, just like I do with my business.
Yep.
I text him. I said, bro, I'm not freaking out. My energy is great. I feel really good. I feel really motivated. I have noticed, though, shit ain't moving. I'm a little bothered by it because I feel like I'm very much still in a position where some shit should be coming off fairly easily.
Yeah.
And he goes, let me get logged into MyFitnessPal. Let me see your food logs. He goes, you tracking everything? I said, bro, I'm tracking everything. I'm in a deficit.
Yep.
I'm working out extra. Like, I'm doing more than what he's assigning. Like, because I'm feeling good.
Yep.
And he goes, all right, I looked over your stuff. Are you tracking everything, anything that you've missed? I'm like, bro, I'm really OCD with this stuff. So if I miss something, I'm talking about like 100-calorie smart popcorn, a protein bar I forgot to log, a First Form beef stick, right? Like a protein. Like I'm not leaving out the ice cream and the Oreos and all those things. Like I'm being legit with you, and I want you to hold me accountable. He's like, okay, can you back off the fucking water? And I'm like, huh? He goes, you don't need to be drinking 200 ounces of water a day. And I was like, oh, I thought I read. Like, he goes, just get to a gallon. Let's see what happens. You may be, you might be retaining. And I said, oh, I thought I would just piss it all out. He goes, that's not necessarily the case. He goes, it's not necessarily the case. He goes, let's just get to a gallon and reassess in a week where you're at. Magically, I do the expert's advice, right? Rather than like, I'm going to overachieve. I'm going to drink 2 gallons a day, right? And I stopped doing that, and guess what? Making good progress.
Water weight came right off.
I make good progress. What I was burning out, I was actually just dumping back into myself, and I was really getting pissed.
Right.
Because I'm eating things I don't necessarily want to eat. I'm being disciplined. Haven't had pizza in like a month and a half, and like it's pissing me off. And I was like, bro, I'm not freaking out. But he goes, can you just kind of stick to what I told you? I'm like, yes, sir. I'm sorry. Sir. Let me try to pay attention. So it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
But you see those little things. But whereas like I do have a big goal in front of me with it, but it's like every couple of days I'm like, hey, am I tracking along? And he's set very realistic guidelines in place. And that's one thing I would push to people who are listening to this is that, you know, if you're facing like your greatest challenge, and for me it's my health, you cannot depend on yourself and what you think you know to get you there. You've got to get an expert.
Oh, for sure.
You got to get an expert is not just the person willing to take your credit card. You got to get someone who cares about you, understands where you're at with your situation. This is business. This is relationships. This is your health. It doesn't matter. You can apply this to whatever your greatest struggle is. Get an expert.
Yeah.
Invest in that. Because one, accountability, the right direction.
Yep.
I mean, you've probably done this your whole life too. I can lose 30 pounds. And I can gain 40.
A day and a half later.
I've probably lost more human beings in my life than, large human beings at that, when you add it all up.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that was the thing with Mark. It's like, this is where I'm at, man. And we got to figure it out. And you got it. If it's your greatest area of concern and your greatest difficulty, you can't rely on yourself to fix it because you already know all the excuses and reasons you'll give yourself where you'll never do it and beat it. And that's why you've never done it.
Yep. It's one of the reasons I go in and I see him, we'll call it 4 to 5 days a week. And I'm a huge, and basically to sum up what you just said is you just said to everyone who's listening to go hire a fucking coach.
Yeah. Hire a coach, whatever it is.
So, clearly we're talking about Mark Zalmanoff here. He's my fitness coach as well as dozens of other people we know. But one of the reasons that I actually enjoy working with him is there's zero bullshit.
That's right.
Okay, I mean zero. He does not accept excuses.
Nope.
Okay, he'll joke with you and play around,
Sure.
but he's going to call you out on your bullshit.
Yep.
Yes, he will log into your MyFitnessPal and shoot you an eyeballs text at 8 p.m. and be like, "What's up with them cheeseburgers you eating tonight?"
Right. Yeah.
Just saying. But here's my deal. Especially individuals like yourself and myself, okay? We're high performers, we're leaders, we run teams of people. Whether we know it or not, there's stress there. And a lot of that stress comes in the form of decision fatigue. We make countless fucking decisions per day, and a lot of those decisions have the tendency to potentially impact someone's life, both positive and or negative. What I love about going into the gym in the morning is I just show the fuck up and turn my brain off.
Right.
Literally turn my brain off.
Yeah.
And I show up and the professional, AKA my coach, has everything I need to do for that day. And I just say, okay, cool. I'm just going to go do the work, man.
Go down the list.
I'm go down the list. And when I'm done, I'm done. If I finish in 45 minutes, great. But knowing him, he's going to make me work until it's close to an hour. If I go and it takes me this long, it is what it is.
Right.
I have a sense of accomplishment once I've finished the list of what he's given me for that day.
Yeah. And it's laid out and there is no thinking about it. Devin laughs at me when I pack for us to go anywhere because it takes me no time at all. I don't have to make a decision. You walk into my closet, there's no decision. It's just the one I grab. And it looks like this. And it looks like this. All right? I don't think about that stuff.
Yeah.
And the same thing, I'm not here in Dallas. So he does my programming online and I log into the app and I just follow what it is. If I don't know what the hell it is, there's a little video for me to watch. I was like, oh, that looks painful. One rep at a time, no problem, I'll do it. And what I started doing, though, at the end of every one, when I hit complete in the notes, I actually communicate what was helpful for me, what was not.
Yeah.
I tell them thank you. I always type out, thank you. And it's because he's helping me overcome that thing I can't overcome on my own, right? Thank you. I'm tired. I hurt right now. It sucked. Thank you. Not willing to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And that's a hard, the funny thing is, I feel like that's a hard thing to say, but my body's been screaming it to anybody I've been around my entire life. I don't care or have not cared enough to prioritize it.
Yep.
That's what you see when you run up on a fat guy. And to me, it's confusing. I don't want to be confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's winning here, he's winning
high
there.
Performance,
that,
all these
so
other areas
weird.
in life, and then this
Why
one area
is
is
like fat.
Yeah.
And that's not me getting hung up, but I think that that's how I think that's an internal thing that And that's anything. Maybe you're freaking super fit and family's great and all that, but your business constantly struggling.
Right.
Why are you holding yourself back from getting that help?
Yep.
And you said a few minutes ago, hire the coach.
Comfortable.
It's so weird. I brought a coach into my life 2 years ago. We've seen some changes. We've seen some improvements. It's opened my mind to things that I didn't think were possible.
Sure.
And I don't know a lot of people that would meet me, or I would say about myself that I'm a small thinker my whole life. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But I was small. I was a big thinker on what I knew was possible.
Right.
So within that aspect, yeah, I was a big thinker. But then when you're like, you actually take the blinders off, get yourself around people and see what potential is actually there. Like,
yeah. Like, oh shit, I'm just scratching the surface here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am just the dog come sit guy.
Sir, this has been awesome.
Appreciate you.
I mean, this has been a long time coming.
It has been.
We've been talking about this for quite some time, and for some reason or another, it just never worked out.
Yeah.
But we finally got this done.
Yeah, thank you.
This is a fantastic episode. Listen, man, I always enjoy our conversations.
100%.
We usually chop it up every 2 weeks and spend a good solid hour, and sometimes it goes over, and we shoot the shit half the time and tell stories where we're both at in life. And it's funny how those conversations we're able to weave in a solution to a problem
100% of the time.
And that goes both ways, by the way. It's one of the things that I personally love about coaching is, I can get on a conversation with you and you may say something back to me without the intent of helping me overcome a situation that I'm in. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. Or I see something that you're doing inside of one of your businesses, like, oh, ding dong, light bulb just went off. I can take what Josh is doing in that company and implement it on a different scale over here in mine and turn it into something as well. Not steal what you're doing, but just implement that process or way of thinking. And it's just amazing to watch it happen. But I'm getting long-winded here. But seriously, man, I really appreciate you, our talks, the time we spend together, and just watching you grow is awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. This is awesome.
Yep.
And we'll get you on the Big Dog Podcast here soon.
Ready when you are, sir.
That's awesome.
Where can we find you?
So that dog trainer on Instagram is probably the easiest. You can end up finding all our different social media and websites through there. It's that_dog_trainer. And then the Big Dog Podcast is a little show that we do. And we don't talk a lot about dogs, but it's business, life, just what's going on. Hoping to share a little bit and learn a little bit.
Love it, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise. I'll talk to you soon.